What's up, guys? Hey, it's Mike here. Look, I want to do a video today about something that I think is really important, and that's how to increase income. Now, for some of you guys out there, you might be making less than $10 an hour. If a cat just ran by, you might be making less than $10 an hour. Or maybe you live in Washington and minimum wage is, I think it's 11 something, $11 an hour. I live in Washington. It's 11 something an hour. And you want to go from 11 to 15, okay? And rather than just, go out there and burn the streets down and riot about 15 now, I mean, how can you really just make 15 now, 15 an hour now? Or better than 15 now, what about 20? What about 30, okay? So I went from minimum wage, okay, 14 years ago, 2004, when I was 14 years old, minimum wage was $5.05 an hour in North Dakota, okay? I went from $5 an hour. Moved out to Washington. I got my first job in Washington at 18, just after graduating high school. Made $10 an hour. And then I went to $15 an hour. Then I went to $30 an hour. Then I went from $30 to $40 an hour with a career change. And then had the ability to take overtime at $60 an hour. And then I signed up for some other off-duty jobs that start at $63 an hour and have premium rates all the way up to $93 an hour. And I've done that between the ages of 18 and 27 years old. So over a 9-year period, I went from $10 an hour to sometimes making $93 an hour, okay? And I've done this all by using these principles right here that I'm going to explain, okay? Now, some of these principles are self-explanatory, right? I mean, anybody should be able to figure them out. Some of these principles are, I feel like I kind of already knew all of them and used all of them long before I ever started studying Grant Cardone or other motivational or salespeople or anything like that. But just for the sake of this, I kind of took the big ones, the ones that are the most important to me, and the ones that helped me the most, which is what I want to see happen. I want you to be successful. I want you to make more money. I don't have a college degree, okay? I just went to community college for a few months because I wanted to play soccer. Other than that, I was out of there, okay? So what can you do to increase your income, which, if you want to develop passive income in the future, if you want to be able to buy real estate, if you want to create financial freedom, you're going to actually have to up your income. That is the number one thing you should be focusing on. You've got to get over $100,000, and that's still nothing. You need to get to way over $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, okay? So let's talk about how you can do that without being a salesperson or having a college education. So, number one, work more. Okay, right. If you're not working full time, let's say you're doing 32 hours a week. You're doing 32 hours a week. You're working four 8-hour days. Okay, figure out how to work the 5th day. Figure out how to work the 6th day. You don't need a weekend. I don't take weekends. I work every single one of my days off. In fact, I was telling the guys I work with, some of the other officers that I work with, about how my normal job feels like more of a break than my overtime gigs. Because my overtime off-duty gigs, man, I'm on my feet for 12 hours straight, never taking a break in the hot heat out there, wearing a bulletproof vest, like freaking sweating to death. And my regular job, I get to take a break. We all go out to lunch. I sit in an air-conditioned car, pull people over, but then I get back in the air-conditioned car. It's really nice. All right, work more. Can you go from 8 hours a day to 10 to 12? Can you pick up a little overtime each day if you can push it to 10 hours? For me, I have the opportunity to take overtime to stay and answer a call, right? A major crash goes out before the end of my shift. I'll sign up for it. It's going to turn into a little bit of overtime for me. That bumps me from $40 to $60 an hour. Plus, I made an extra hour's worth of pay or 2 hours worth of pay. Is there an opportunity for you in your job to work more, work longer, okay? Ask for a raise. Now, this is a tough one because a lot of people don't want to ask for a raise. Or maybe you've already asked for a raise recently. And maybe your company's like, okay, yeah, we'll give you 50 cents more an hour. That's not good enough, okay? You should honestly refuse it on principle. I did one time when I was just starting out at this granite shop that I worked at. Another guy and I got hired at the same time, making $10 an hour. And I was like, I need more than this. I work harder than this. I'm more valuable than this. And I went in and I asked for a raise, and they said, look, we'll raise you to $12 an hour. And I said, no. I said, no, it's not enough. I said, I've got to have an opportunity to make more money than just $12 an hour. Because if I accepted the 12, then I would have kind of forced myself into a box where, well, is it really etiquette, to ask for another raise and just 2 more, 3 more, 5 more, 6, or a year later, months to a year later? So I said, no, let me figure out how to become more valuable to my employer, which I did, and was able to get moved from 10 to 15 bucks an hour, which still, that's garbage. You know, I mean, it was good for me then. This was back in 2010. It was good for me then and for what I was doing for them. But I mean, 15 bucks an hour is nothing. So ask for a raise. It's uncomfortable. It is. I'll make a video about how to ask for a raise. It's uncomfortable, but you have to do it. You need to do it. The people who are successful in their life are the ones who are hard chargers, who are go-getters, who are going to push to be successful. Okay, so now let's look at what we got next. Okay, ask for help from your boss. Now, this is another thing I did, okay? Most people's bosses, maybe like not your direct boss, maybe not just the manager in front of you, but it could be that manager in front of you. It could be, okay? I might be wrong about that. You can ask for help from people who are more successful than you in your company, okay? When I worked at that granite shop company and I wanted to move up, I went and I would have 3-hour conversations with the owners, Bob and Deb. There was a husband and wife owner. What can I do to be more successful? And they appreciated that spark, that fire, that desire in me at a young age to do more than just sweep floors, get covered in glue and epoxies and resins and polish countertops, okay? And so over time, they trusted me with more work, more difficult work, driving the company car, representing the company at home shows, doing sales calls, all these different things that they put on me over time that allowed them to eventually say, hey, look, we want to open a new franchise in another county. Will you, at 23 years old, Mike, will you move down to this county and freaking run the franchise, represent us to all of these new customers, and hopefully help us be successful? And I said, yeah, of course. Now, I mean, they didn't just literally send me down there by myself and say, hands off, he's doing everything. They provided tons of support, and they did a lot of work too. But the fact that they would entrust that type of responsibility, I mean, I did everything through the installation process of granite for these folks, okay? So ask for help. Get them on your side. I want to be successful like you, boss. But for my case, Bob. How can I do it? I can't go to school. And they didn't want me to go to school full-time because they need me to work for them. Anyways, ask for help. Ask for a promotion. Okay, maybe they cannot pay you more at the job you're doing right now. That was the case for me. I could not get paid more money to sweep floors. They're not going to pay someone more money. I'm going to do a video about the $10 an hour guy. Every company has the minimum wage guy, right? We need somebody in the minimum wage position because we need someone to sweep floors and throw stuff in the garbage and lift heavy crap. I mean, that guy's working really hard, but his work is not valuable because you're just sweeping. You're just cleaning. Anyone can do it. You got 2 hands, you can freaking clean, okay? That's not a valuable skill, or at least a skill that is in high demand, because anybody can do it, okay? So promote or reassign. Maybe you cannot promote to a manager position. Maybe you can't promote to a better job. In order for me to make more money in my line of work, I needed to move from the low guy on the totem pole sweeping floors and fabricating to lead installer. But the lead installer position was taken. The guy who goes out into people's homes and actually does the work in the home. So instead of becoming the lead installer, I moved to a more beneficial job in the shop, lead fabricator, right? Not really a promotion, but it was a job that paid a little bit more and gave me an opportunity to be paid for my production level. And what I mean by that in this case was, hey, the guy who's the lead fabricator lays out a job. You've got all these pieces you need to cut out of a slab of granite. And you need to figure out how to use as little granite as possible to make these pieces. So how can you cut as many pieces as you can out of one slab so we don't have to pull another $1,000 slab for some more, and then another $1,000 slab for some more. So being good at geometry helped. And I moved into that position. So I was reassigned before being promoted, and then promoted again, right? So figure out, is there another job that you can make more money at that's not a promotion? Maybe in a different department. Do you work at Walmart? Can you move to a different department? Maybe certain departments offer more overtime. I mean, I'm an officer now. I can tell you that as a line duty, normal standard officer, I have opportunities for overtime all the time. Detectives, not so much, right? They get called out when something crazy happens. But if nothing crazy is happening, you know, they work their 10-hour day, they go home, they can do their paperwork the next day. Me, I'm dealing with the in-the-second emergencies, crashes, medical emergencies, criminals, stolen vehicles, DUIs. You know, it's like if it's the end of my shift and I pick something up, dude, I'm working for another 4 hours. I get that opportunity. So is there an opportunity for you to move around in your company or in your agency or in your department to a job that allows you to have the ability to work more, essentially? Work a second job. Now, I get to this one later, and I have worked 2 or 3 jobs the majority of my adult life. I refereed soccer while I worked at the Granite Shop. And then I also help people down on Saturdays in Bellevue doing resumes and teaching like professional excellence and how to like present yourself to an employer, how to do interviews to get a job. Now I work for this agency in a department in Washington. And I also work 2 separate off-duty jobs doing flagging and security services. I work 3 jobs because I want multiple flows of income. You know, if for some reason I've got so much vacation time stacked up at my primary job because I never, ever, ever take vacation, I need to use it or I'll lose it. So I take 2 weeks off and fill that entire 2 weeks of vacation time with working at another job, so I can freaking double dip the chip. So I double dip. I get paid at my primary job and paid full time at the second job. I mean, figure out how to work a second job if you need it. Okay, if you need it. This is down on the list because at this point, man, you're getting into the difficulty with it is not easy to work a second job. You're gonna be it's easier to get better at your first job, like Grant Cardone says. Get as good as you can at your first job. When you finish that first flow of income, when you've maxed it out, when you've gone as far as you can go, then consider the second job. Okay, career change, right? Career change, and it's something that is hard. Nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to move out of your city, out of your state. Nobody wants to take the risk. I worked myself from $10 an hour to $30 an hour. Over 4 years, I became a general manager. I was making $60,000 a year, which I know that's pennies to a lot of people, but $60,000 a year to me, when I came from $10 an hour, was just astronomical. I felt like I was a king. But I had maxed out my potential there, and I didn't feel satisfied with that job in terms of, I just knew I had more. I knew I had more to give, and I knew I could produce more and earn more and do something that was more fulfilling. And so I quit. I took a pay decrease to become an officer, to go through the training process of an officer, which is a year. And throughout that year, you can be fired for anything, man. Absolutely anything. First of all, if you get caught lying or cheating or doing anything dishonest, you're gone. If you aren't a good enough driver, you're gone. If you can't shoot your weapon properly, you're gone. If you can't memorize the laws and the legal work and apply the law, you're gone. If you can't pursue a vehicle properly, you're gone. If you can't have verbal judo and tactically communicate with people and de-escalate situations well enough, you're gone. I mean, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of different opportunities for people to be fired during the training process of being an officer. At least that's how it is here in Washington, right? I mean, heck, we even have a time where your class of 40 people that you've been living with for the last 6 months, because we had to live at that academy, literally pull out a list and they have to write in descending order from best to worst their classmates, fellow cadets. Who's the best? Who's the worst? Your name's down there on those bottom 5, too many? You're gone! Sorry, nobody likes you. We don't know why you didn't mess anything up, but just, nobody likes you. So, see you later. Here's your 2 papers. Resign or be fired. It's up to you. You have to produce. You have to do a good job. So,